Hello students, we will discuss a new unit, that is Unit 3, Periodic Classification of Elements. You have studied many basic concepts related to this, yet we'll have a brush up on whatever you have studied in your high school classes. In periodic classification of elements, you might have studied different ideas of why we have to classify the elements, or why did the scientists have the idea of classifying the elements into a table called as periodic table. Before the idea of periodic table came, they started classifying the elements in different ways based on their ideas. So the few very notable ones that we know, say Dobryn's law of triads we have studied. Dobryn's law of triads, where Dobryner tried classifying. It doesn't mean that Dobryner was the first one to classify. There were many other scientists who had idea of classification, and they have classified in their own ways, but very notable ones are mentioned in the syllabus, and we will go according to that. In Dobryner's law of triads, what did he do? He took three elements, like for example barium, strontium, calcium, lithium, sodium, potassium. 3 elements with similar properties and he placed in a group. So he said that this is one way of classification that I have given. 3 elements with same properties are kept one below the other as 3. And one more, what did he say? If for example, if it is lithium, sodium, potassium, then he said if you calculate the atomic mass of the first 2 and take average of it, that average atomic mass will be that of the middle element. Then next came octave rule, that is Newland. He gave one more rule, Newland's law of octaves. What did he say? He said octa, 8 elements. He classified 8 elements, and then he said first and 8th element shows similar properties. So first element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8th will be placed under first one, so that first and 8th element will show similar properties. This was Newland's law of octaves. Why octave it was called is because it resembles music notes. Because it resembles music notes, it's called as octave. Then he could not classify the elements after calcium. He started classifying 8, then again next 8 he could classify, but after that he was unable to classify because the next 8th element would not have been showing the same property. Then came the other next notable one was related to atomic weights, that was given by Dmitri Mendeleev. Mendeleev's law of classification. What Mendeleev said is before this Mendeleev's law, or until they had idea of Mendeleev's periodic classification, they didn't have idea of subatomic particles, only the idea of atoms they had. So Mendeleev said if you consider the atomic weights means you can say atomic mass also. So his classification was based on atomic weights. What he did, he gave idea of forming table. He gave idea of forming table with rows, these are called as rows, and columns. So you know what are rows? The horizontal lines are called as rows, and these vertical lines constitute columns. So he gave idea of table. Okay, he started classifying, that is arranging the elements based on atomic weights, and he went on classifying. Then wherever he could not find the element, he gave a space there. For example, below aluminium, he gave a space. He could not know which element it is, so he named it as Eka aluminium. Same way, he could not find out the element after silicon, next to silicon, so he called it as Eka silicon. Later, see why I'm telling this is because using his rule of periodic table also, he could find out, or the other scientists could easily find out some elements. That is, they knew, okay, the next element will have property similar to that of aluminium. They found gallium. Next to silicon, the element that they found was germanium. So the idea of getting germanium and gallium, it was again with the help of Mendeleev's periodic table. Now all this happened. Now came the idea of subatomic particles. Subatomic particles, so he had told related to atomic weights. There came an idea of isotopes. So this was a big question mark. Isotopes. Why? Because he placed all the elements according to their increasing atomic weights. Now in isotopes, hydrogen has 3 isotopes, H11, H12, H13. Say carbon has C611, C612, C613, C614. These are atomic masses, these are atomic numbers. Isotopes are those which have same atomic number but different atomic mass number, yes? Now the question was, see, hydrogen has 3 isotopes. So in all these, the mass will vary. Atomic mass is different. H1, H2, H3, here C11, 12, 13, 14. That means you should make 4 columns for carbon. For hydrogen, you should make 3 columns. For chlorine, you have again 35, 1735 and 1737 also. For that again you will have to make 2 columns. So if you go on classifying based on atomic weights, then the periodic table will be a very complicated one. So for this, what the question was related to isotopes, and then came a scientist called Moseley, who said, okay, fine, you don't use atomic weights. Instead, you can use atomic numbers for the classification. So he gave an idea of classifying, that is periodically classifying the elements based on atomic number. So before that, we will have to know what is the statement of Mendeleev's law. Mendeleev's law states that the periodic function of the elements or periodic properties of the elements are the periodic function of their atomic weights. What does it state? Mendeleev's law states that the periodic or the properties of elements, the properties, the chemical and physical properties of elements are the periodic functions of their atomic weights. This was Mendeleev's law, and now Moseley modified the law and he said you can speak it in terms of atomic number. So what does Moseley's law state? And Moseley's law is also called as modern periodic law. Modern periodic law. What does it state? It states that the properties, that is physical and chemical properties of elements, are the periodic functions of their atomic numbers. So that is the only difference here, that instead of atomic weights he said atomic numbers. Whom? Mosley. So Mosley's law is also called as modern periodic law. Just make a note of it. Moving further now. However, the idea of table was given by Mendeleev. Now Mosley said using atomic number you can write the elements, you can classify the elements, and here the horizontal rows are called what? Periods, and the vertical columns are called groups. Horizontal rows are called periods and vertical columns are called as groups. We have 7 periods in the periodic table. 7 periods in the periodic table and 18 groups in the periodic table. The modern periodic table that we are still using, it consists of 18 groups and 7 periods. So I'll just have I'll let you have a look on this periodic table, and then we will move on to the next very important concept that we are about to discuss. So just a display of periodic table, as you can see here. Okay, this is the periodic table which we have. Hope you can have a look at it, at least a brief look on this. Now here you see these are called as, these are columns, these are called as what? Groups. And what are these horizontal rows called as? These horizontal rows are called as periods. Now how many groups do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 18 groups we have, whereas we have 7 periods. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 periods we have. This down which F block elements that are placed, these are continuation of 6th and 7th period itself. So total we have how many periods? 7 periods we have altogether. Now here I'll come back to this concept of periodic table again, but before that we will discuss some other concept. You see here, from 101 when we write the electronic configuration, after 100 the elements were named, and these elements were named using a particular method of nomenclature. That is what we will be studying. Here you see UUB, UUT, UUQ, UUP. It's difficult to remember, isn't it? So we can write it very easily by knowing a particular method that we will study now. So we call it as nomenclature of elements. Nomenclature means it's a standard term used for naming. Nomenclature means naming elements with atomic number. Z means what? Atomic number. S, atomic number greater than 100. So for atomic number greater than 100, IUPAC nomenclature, that is, you know what is IUPAC? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So that it gave this particular union, it gave a standard way of naming elements after atomic number 100, and that is what we will be studying now. So here you should make a column digit, name and abbreviation. Digit, name and abbreviation. So under this we will start writing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. What is the name given for these digits? For 0, the name that is given is nil. Nil means 0. Okay. For 1, it is given as un. Un. Un is the name given. Okay, here it is 1n. Un. For 2, bi. Bi. Bi means 2. 3, tri. For 4, quad. Quad. For 5, pent. For 6, hex. For 7, sept. S-E-P-T. For 8, it is oct. O-C-T. Oct. For 9, it is N. The name is E-N-N. N. Now the abbreviation here for these names, abbreviation, for 0 we write nil, so we denote it as N. For 1 we denote it as U. For bi, B, small letter B. For tri, small letter T. For quad, Q. For pent, P. For hex, H. For sept, S. For oct, O. And for N, that is 9, E. These are the abbreviations given. Now using this abbreviation, we can write the names for the elements with atomic number greater than 100. See, if it is 101, how do we write the name of this? How do you write? For 1, it is un. For 0, it is nil. For 1, it is again un. And ending of the name nomenclature, at the ending it should end with IUM. The name must end with IUM. This is a suffix. Suffix means after a particular word, at the end what you add, we call it as suffix. So that is the suffix that we add in this case. So we will start writing for 1, un, un. Then continuously you have to write without space. For 0, nil, N-I-L. Again for 1, un, un. Now how should I end the name? Okay, I have written the abbreviation, that is name for these numbers, digits. So I have to end it with IUM. IUM. So the name is un, nil, anyam. How should I denote it? Denotion is U, N, U. This is how I will be denoting 101. This is how we give the IUPAC nomenclature for it. Clear? Now same way for 102, 102. Then we write un. For 0, nil. For 2, bi. Then I have to end with IUM. M again. Anilbayam. U. 0 is N. B. So up to around 111 elements, they have given different names named after the discoverers. Mendelevium, Rutherfordium, Roentgenium, you see. All the names are given. So that is based on the discoverers. But IUPAC way of nomenclature is this. Now we will write 103 Anil. For 3 it is tri, ending IUM. Then I have to write U, 1, N for 0, T for tri. Clear? Shall we write for other? 104. Anil. For 4 it is quad, QUAD, and ending should be IUM, Anil quadium. So the name will be U, nil is N, quad is Q. Next is 105. 1 is nil, 5 is pentium. Name is UNP. That is denotion of it. Next 106 nil hex, IUM is the ending, anilhexium. Denotion is UNH. In the examination they can ask you based on this. Sometimes in the competitive exams also they ask. It's very simple, isn't it? If you know how to for which digit you have to the namings, if you know, and the abbreviation if you know, you can easily write. We will write for the remaining ones also. Then 107, try writing. 108, 109, 110, 111, 2, 3. What is the name? 1 means un, NIL, nil. SEPT, sept. Ending is IUM. How should we denote? UNS. Here Anil octium, OCT IUM. Denotion is UNO. Here UN NIL, 9 is NENN, so N again IUM, anilenium, anilenium. This is the denotion of it. Next, now you see 110. So how will you write? It is for 1 it is again for 1 it is for 0 nil, NIL, then ending must be IUM, nilium. So denotion is U, then N, UUN. For this, what will be the name? Anyam. So U. For this, then bayam. So bayam. UUB, then UUT for trium. Then if it is 114, it is UUQ, then UUP, UUH, UUS, and UUO. How many elements do we have in the periodic table? We have 118 elements in the periodic table. Hope it is clear. So this is how we write the the IUPAC nomenclature for these elements. Next we have in the electronic configuration, We know how the periodic table is classified as. Periodic table is classified into S block, P block, D block and F block. S block, P block, D block and F block. This unit is very simple. With the general classification, here the main idea of this unit is that you have to understand the features of periodic table. You must understand the arrangement of the periodic table and the properties related to the periodic table. So how it is classified? The periodic table is classified as SP, DF block elements. So now in this periodic table, if you see, say you take it as a revision if you have already learnt about it. Yet here you can see group 1 and 2 comes under S block elements. Which are they? Hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, here rubidium, cesium, francium, then beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. All these come under which? S block elements. On the right hand side you have group 13 to group 18. These elements are called as P block elements. Clear? Now here in between we have D block elements starting from group 3 to group 12. That is D block elements we have. And from groups, that is period 6th and 7th, from 57th element, say from 58 to 91 and 90 to 103, the elements are placed differently. The reason why it is placed at the bottom is because these show horizontal similarity than vertical similarity, and that is why they are classified separately. These are called F block elements. So how the classification is done? SPDF. Here S, here P block, here D block, and here F block elements are classified. Hope it is clear. So we will be studying the properties related to these elements in the coming classes in this particular unit as well. So you have to remember that 1 and 2 are S block, 13 to 18 P, 3 to 12 is D block elements, and from lanthanum and actinium onwards we have F block elements. These elements which follows lanthanum and which follows actinium, these are called lanthanides and these are called as actinoids in F block elements. So these are the very important things that we had to discuss. So in the next video we will discuss further more concepts related to SPDF block elements, related to their atomic radius, ionization, energy, electronegativity, all such properties. It's very easy, don't worry. Okay, thank you.